Hi, Life Groups. Hope you're doing good. And we had a really good time this past Sunday with missionary evangelist Talat Muhammad. And if there's anybody that can testify about trusting God, it's him. This is a guy that was in a foreign country and stopped by the Taliban, and he actually led them to the Lord. He's been in some really tough spots. He got bit by a black mamba, where he, left for dead, and he lived through that. And when you go through these moments after moments after moments experiences, and you just keep on coming out of it, and and you know that it's God. I'll tell you something, it really does build you. And so that's why it's so good, guys, to build your trust in the Lord, because, when it seems like it's gonna, when it's more depressing, when it seems like it's more sad, when it seems like the situation it just doesn't seem like it's gonna, come out clear, that's where you put your trust. But at the same time, you got to put your trust in God all the time, even when things are good. You can't just do it when it's when your back is against the wall. You can't do that. It's all the time. And so a good exercise is just to wake up every day and say, Lord, I trust you. Kind of tell yourself, train yourself, the same way you train for a test, the same way you train for a marathon. You have to also train yourself to say, no, I'm gonna trust God today, and Lord, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you for my finances. I'm trusting you to give me insight, Lord God. I'm trusting you to get me through this problem. I wake up every day, literally every day, and I say, Lord, thank you for this wonderful day. What an amazing day. It's a fantastic day. And I just automatically just give him the attention, the value that is him. Some people will do the opposite. They wake up and they give the value to, oh, it's going to be a horrible day. I need my coffee first, it's going to be bad because I got tests, that I have to do, Guys, I'm telling you right now, just automatically wake up with that intention and put the value on him. Put the value on him and just, Lord Father, you're just putting a fixture. You're putting your focus on him every day, all the time. And so that's the way I wake up that way. I just do it, and I love it. It's a very, very good habit. So we've been talking about trusting God, and so here's a question, okay? And so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you the question. We'll go ahead and pause it, and then everybody kind of talk about it. But here's a very good question. The question is, we've been talking about trusting in the finished work of Christ. So how do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus Christ? Okay. Once again, how do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus Christ? Okay, so go ahead and pause it and come right back. Good question, right? How do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus Christ? And so, first off, we talked about as far as what Hebrews chapter 4, and it goes on to continue all the way to chapter 12, verse 2, and we'll see it right now, where it talks about as far as resting. And resting means this. It means to be established, that you're not going from one opinion to another. And basically it means this, that you're always pointing to Jesus. You're not pointing to you. You're not pointing to anything, but you're pointing to Jesus. I'm not pointing to my works to get me there. I'm pointing to Jesus because Jesus already got me there. Okay, so how do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus? Go ahead and go to Hebrews chapter 6, and read verse 18 and 19, talk about it, and then come right back. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18 and 19. Hopefully you read it. And here's what it says. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18 and 19. It says, in order that by two unchangeable things, it is impossible for God to lie. We who have strong, and look what it says, we have strong encouragement. So what God the Father did, what Jesus did together, it brings us. How do you know if you are trusting the finished work of Jesus Christ? First off, it brings strong encouragement. Not guilt, not shame, strong encouragement. And so look what it says. It says, we may have strong encouragement, we who have fled for refuge and laying a hold of the hope that is set before us. Look at verse 19. It says, this hope, it says, we have as an anchor of the soul a hope both sure and steadfast, and the one that enters within the veil. So number one, there's strong encouragement. Number two, hope. There's a hope. I have hope. I have hope that, that I am saved. I have a strong encouragement that I'm not going anywhere. God's got me, and so it's strong encouragement, number one. Number two, it's hope. Number three, go to chapter 9, verse 14. This will give you some strong confidence. Okay, chapter 9, look what it says in verse 14, and we'll read it together. It says, having much more, it says, or how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, it says, cleanse your conscience from dead works in the living God. I mean, look what it says here. It says, so number three is, it's cleansing your conscience from dead works. In other words, there's nothing that I can do to work my way into getting in with God. I can't do it. My conscience, I am free from trying to get to God. In other words, I am free from trying to get to God. I can't do anything. I can't pray enough. I can't give enough. If I was to go ahead and be a missionary, if I was to go ahead and give all my money away, guys, I'm going to tell you something. If I'm doing it with the intention to try to get to God, I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't work. Verse 14 is basically saying, those are dead works. The work that Jesus did put us at the right place at the right time. Put us in Him. Put us in His love. Put us in the family. Basically, that's number three. So number one, strong encouragement. Number two, hope. Number three, I can't work my way. That's it. I'm already in the family. Okay, born in the family. Look at chapter 10. Chapter 10, verse 22 to 24. And look what it says. Here's the number 4. Number 4 is, verse 22. Chapter 10, verse 22. It says, let us draw near with a sincere heart and full assurance of faith. So I want you to see this. We're always drawing to God. Always, man, I anticipate God. I don't run from God. Adam and Eve, when they bit the apple, what did they do? They ran from God. They heard God. They ran from God. Guys, we don't run from God. You kidding me? We have a full assurance that we can always approach God. Okay, so let us draw near with a full, sincere heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. I want to read this out of the Message Bible. It says, encourages believers, look what it says, to approach God with full belief, confident that we're presentable inside and out. Wow. Let me say that again. That we're confident in full faith, in full belief, confident that we're presentable inside and out. How do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus? Number 1, strong encouragement. Number 2, hope. A hope that never fades, by the way. Number 3, cleansing your conscience from dead works. I can't work my way into God. I was born into God. Number 4 is the that we're confident. We have a full confidence that we can come to God, and that we're presentable inside and out. And here's number 5. Number 5 is chapter 11. I mean, not chapter 11, chapter 12. Look what it says in verse 2. This is number 5. How do I know, or how do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus? Hebrews chapter 12. Look what it says in verse 2. It says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author, the perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Once again, this is implying he rested. He did the work and he rested. Now, look what it says. Number 5 is, we're always pointing to Jesus. How do you know if you're really trusting the finished work of Jesus? You're always pointing to him. You're not pointing towards yourself. Well, you understand what I did. I was really good with this. I've been a good Christian. Guys, you can't point to you. You always have to point to him. Another translation says it like this: Jesus, who started and finished the race of faith. He started the race for you, and he finished the race for you. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that take the load off? Where you can have that, look at that confidence. See, once again, how do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of the Lord? Is because there's a confidence in you. There's not a shred of guilt, because Jesus took care of all of that. Once again, it's always pointing to Jesus, which is chapter 12, verse 2. Jesus, who started and finished the race of faith. So what does that do? You have strong encouragement in your relationship with God. Strong encouragement. You might not have strong encouragement with people, but you've got strong encouragement with you and Jesus. You have, number 2, you always have a hope. Always. It's a sure and steadfast hope. In other words, it doesn't go anywhere. It's a consistent hope. It's a strong hope. It's cemented in heaven. That's it. End of story. Number 3, it cleanses your conscience from dead works. In other words, that attitude of, I'm trying to get to God. Let me tell you something. You don't need to have it anymore. Number 4, where you have a confidence where you're presentable inside and out. A confidence that you're presentable inside and out. And number 5, you're always pointing to him. You're always pointing to him. See, there's self-made religion. Well, it's if I fast 2 days and then I don't eat and I do a mission trip and and I don't smoke, don't drink, and I don't, then I'll be more presentable, and God will accept me even that much more. Nope, doesn't work, because with that you're pointing toward yourself and you're pointing towards God. It doesn't work. It can't go both ways, or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, it's just one way. It's just Jesus. It points to him. So what does that do for you and I? Strong encouragement. I can rest in that. I can really rest in that. And my new motivation in life, your new motivation in life is for the love of God. You know why I do what I do? It's for the love of God. You know why I don't do those other things or do the things that maybe the world does? Real easy. It's because I love God more. I love God more than even than my own selfish needs. I love God more. And so, guys, hopefully that really helped you. Talk about this in your group, and talk about the 5 things that we talked about. How do you know if you're trusting in the finished work of Jesus? Okay, end off in prayer. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next time.